welcome to the stage now, Cooper Helfet. Cooper, thank you very much for coming down tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Well, it's pretty cool to get a chance to talk to you, and coming off of that win in Minnesota, that had to be a pretty good feeling for you guys.
Yeah, absolutely. It was kind of the culmination of offense, defense, special teams, everything clicking, and just kind of, making the plays that we should make every game.
Could you feel it building toward that? You guys have had, as a team, we've watched it, how you guys will gain and be able to hold on to momentum. Could you feel that kind of performance was coming, or is it you don't really realize until it's underway?
I mean, the feeling starts to kind of come back in the building, and everyone's kind of in good spirits and having a good time, and it just feels kind of like Seahawks football again. And, we kind of felt that last week during the week, and obviously it showed in the game.
Hey, Cooper, before you got here, a lot of people here thought this guy was you. Okay, does that make you feel bad?
One person. One person?
Oh, man, he's killing over there.
Yeah.
I'm happy for him.
What you need to say is he might need a few more pounds if he's going to be able to block off the edge.
3 inches, 50 pounds, yeah.
Don't do it. I'm warning you.
Cooper, you're talking about that feeling that you guys have, and I just used to love those plane rides home afterwards. But there was a picture on the website of you guys all circled around Pete, and you're all screaming, and it looks like so much fun, but it really does feel like a. How would you describe that feeling? You were talking about everybody's got kind of a pep in their step, but maybe it's confidence. I don't know. It's kind of hard to describe, isn't it?
It is hard to describe. It's just kind of a loose, happy attitude where everyone just kind of realizes, that we're doing what we love to do, and, we're doing it with the guys we like. We're lucky to have a team of guys that we all want to be around and like being around, like playing with. So to go out there and have games like that and, a big win, it's going to be all smiles and, that great feeling you're talking about afterwards.
Cooper, does this situation that you personally are in right now, does it kind of feel similar to what happened last year when Zach Miller went down and now it's Jimmy Graham?
Yeah, pretty similar. Back to me and Luke Rolden, which, happened a lot sooner last year. I think it was week 4 or 5 when, we got put in the position. And, yeah, so it just feels like, back to old times kind of.
And I heard you talking on their show a couple of weeks ago about how a lot of people might think that within a certain position group that it's kind of antagonistic and that you guys are competing to some degree, but you guys are all really tight and really good friends, right? Contrary to what some people might assume.
Yeah, I mean, it can be that way if there are guys that you don't like in your position group, right? But it's hard with guys like Luke and Jimmy. They're just awesome guys. So is Zach. It was the same way. Anthony McCoy coming back. It's all great guys that, we have to spend so much time with every day that it's a blessing that they're such good guys. And if something like that happens, first thing Jimmy texts me is like, hey, man, I know I went down, but don't think about that. Your time to shine, make the plays. I'm happy for you. So it's kind of the way it goes.
We've got Cooper Helfet here, and I haven't gotten a chance to see Anthony McCoy in practice yet, but is he still skipping?
He's toned back some of his emotions a little bit, but they're still entertaining for sure.
That's good. It was the first time that I'd ever, and it was probably, it's 6 years ago now, because he was the first person I ever heard use the word swag. Because I'd ask him, what's up with the skipping when you go in motion? And he said, that's my swag.
Yeah, he'd do a little step back and then a point to the receiver to get him on the ball, and then a nice little skip high step across. We still joke about it. It's comedy.
Who was the coach that put the kibosh on that?
I mean, everyone. It started off kind of slow with a light skip, and then turned into a whole dance routine point, and then high step and skip, and everyone's like, "All right, dude, it's getting a little ridiculous." But all the players liked it.
I could picture Tom Cable coming up and going, "Hey, kid, don't ever do that again. I'm gonna kill you."
Something like that.
Well, let's go back to when you were growing up, Cooper. Were you a big football player? Were you a big football fan? Did you ever see yourself as someday being a professional athlete?
Not really. I mean, I didn't really grow up in any kind of football town. I think I was in kind of hippy-dippy Marin County, California, where we probably had more people at girls' soccer games than we had at our high school football games. So, I mean, I played football, basketball, lacrosse, everything, just kind of because all my friends did, and we had a good time doing it. And I had never really pictured being at this point right now. But
when you were younger and did you watch games, and was there somebody that you liked to watch or emulate?
No, yeah, I was a big 49ers fan growing up. It's just where I grew up, and yeah, there you go. All my friends, they're slowly switching over. I've brought over most of them, yeah. So I mean, I grew up watching, Steve Young, Jerry Rice, Owens when he was first there. All those guys I looked up to, and big time 49ers in their heyday.
And I had to ask Cooper today in the locker room to get confirmation on this because I didn't want to look like an idiot if I was wrong. But you went to the same high school as Pete Carroll, right?
Yeah, we did go to the same high school and middle school, actually. Yeah.
And what was
Redwood High School? Yeah, just a random public high school in Northern California, just north of San Francisco, and we joke about it all the time, just because it's, like I said, not a big football factory in any way, and yeah.
Did you know he'd gone there before you got up here?
I cannot remember the answer to that question.
Because the other person that went there is Robin Williams.
Robin Williams went there, and actually, I just heard the head coach for the San Diego Chargers went there too.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
McCoy.
yeah.
Well, that's really interesting. You got Cooper Helfet here. I did some research before coming on here, and it wasn't to you though. So I've come up with a couple of different facts that I want to ask about. The first one is I didn't realize that you were born in South Africa.
I wasn't actually born in South Africa.
They were lying to me?
They were lying to you. I was born in San Francisco, but my dad was born and raised in South Africa, and we spent every summer there for about the first 10 years of my life.
What was that like, and where did you go when you were there in South Africa?
My dad was born in Newlands, which is like northern Cape Town. So, it's probably the most beautiful country land you've ever been to. Just like mountains stretching right into huge white sand beaches. And, just a lot more, rural and laid back and really, really good people. And, it was a blast going there in the summers. And we actually did a big family reunion with my uncles and everybody this last off season for about 2 weeks.
How do you think that impacted you? Because that's an incredible opportunity to see that part of the world, which most of us have never gone to. I want to go to South Africa. What was that like for you?
It was amazing. I was lucky growing up that my parents really put the bulk, instead of like material things, they spent whatever excess money they had on traveling. So our biggest thing was traveling, whether or not it was to South Africa, where my dad's family was from, but to a bunch of different places. And you can't pass up what you gain from those experiences, right? Like I've learned so much about different people, and I feel like I get along with everybody just because I've had the chance to meet so many different kinds of people.
The other thing that I learned, and this has been one of the better changes in the locker room, is there's now ping pong tables in there. Because they used to have the beanbag toss.
The rankings are skewed.
Yeah, there is. You guys have had their rankings. But I was told specifically to ask about what happened in the last best of 5 series you had against Luke Wilson.
You need to ask Luke Wilson what's happened in the last month and what our all-time record is and how he only beat me one day.
So if you're going to do a proper seeding, who's number 1? Is it Hauschka?
Yeah, Hauschka's probably number 1.
Hauschka's number 1 because he's kind of the goofy kicker and he has a lot of time to practice.
Yeah.
Who's number 2?
It's probably between me and Drew.
Nowak.
Nowak's
Really?
pretty good.
No kidding.
He's pretty damn good.
With
for a
his
big
weird
guy.
with his weird Wisconsin accent.
Weird Wisconsin accent.
Yeah.
You can use both hands. He's tricky. He's pretty damn good.
And then Luke Wilson, because now you've got a second guy with kind of a goofy accent.
Yeah.
He can also play hockey.
He can also play.
But where does
you
he?
noticed all white also.
I wasn't going to point that out.
Yeah, well,
See,
Bruce,
now when
Bruce
Myra-
Irvin, I'm sorry.
He's actually pretty good. Bruce is pretty good.
Well, he pointed out that that's what white people do. They put their kids into things like ping pong, and that's why the white guys dominate the sport in the locker room.
Now that leads me to believe that Bruce has never watched ping pong in the Olympics.
Yeah.
Because it's not white guys. It's a lot of East Asians. We see a lot of that sort of Hong Kong. That's where it excels. No, but it's funny to watch how the locker room culture, because it does kind of change. And the ping pong games are actually, they're pretty important to you guys. At one point, there was a fat defensive lineman that broke a table. There were wanted posters put up, surveillance footage. It's an important part of the locker room.
Yeah, we got to. I mean, we're always competing. Just having fun, talking trash to each other and giving each other hard times. And any way we can figure out another way to beat somebody in something, we're going to do it. So you put a game in front of us, and it's on.
I got to believe that room is a lot of fun, especially, you guys have a pretty small group. There's, you got Pat McPherson, your coach, and then there's usually, 3, maybe 4 of you guys. And but you're stuck in that room all day with Luke Wilson. And we he's become quite a hot topic on our show. We love having him on. But he always talks about how he doubts the moon landing and those kinds of crazy theories. Does he believe that, or is he that crazy, do you think, or is this just maybe he's just joking around?
No, I'm pretty sure he believes most of it.
Yeah.
He's out there, but I mean, he's a smart kid. He knows when he's maybe talking out of whatever. He's saying things he shouldn't be saying and just kind of, trying to poke us on the side. But, yeah, we have a good time in the room. We got a whole fine system, fine each other for ridiculous things.
Like what?
His hair?
We find, his hair. So he's going to cry. I can't even say that. But,
He's going to cry.
I mean, we find each other for Big Baller Fine is one of our fines. So anytime you got a new car, or you just say something that is just so absurd, out of the ordinary, you get a Big Baller Fine. Or you get a Uncle Rico fine, is if you bring back like a high school highlight or a college highlight. So we got an awesome fine system going.
And what kind of fines are we talking here? How much?
So it's actually bumped up. December bumps it up, but they're anywhere 10 to, you got a big, like Jimmy got a big Adidas commercial, Powerade commercial. That was like a solid $250, $300 fine.
That would have been a Big Baller fine?
That's a media fine, but an extensive one. National coverage.
So Big Baller is basically somebody gets a little bit too big for their britches. It
Yeah,
could be
exactly.
something they say or something they buy or whatever.
Exactly.
I believe
Love
that
that.
we're going to have to bring in some audio footage of Luke Wilson that's going to subject him to an Uncle Rico fine.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
'Cause he
and a
explains-
media
Right.
fine. And a media fine.
Yeah, he will, because he explained to us how when he was in high school, there was a game where he decided to take a play off because he was going to go ruin
Perfect.
this guy.
Uncle Rico fine.
He
Good
tried
time.
to rip his face off.
I already got a $50 fine for just coming here tonight. He heard about it in the locker room. He's like, I heard you doing Pearl tonight. I was like, $50.
Hey, can we get a percentage of that fine from Luke? Because
Finder's fee.
yeah, it was told on our show, so we should get part of that fine.
Well, it actually all gets pulled together, and half of it we actually just gave away to a children's group for the holidays for toys, and the other half goes towards the trip for the boys in the off season. So
Awesome.
That's
That's great. Good for you guys. What kind of have you taken trips in the past, and if so, where do you guys go?
Well, you can actually blame Luke for this. We were supposed to do a boys' trip last year. Luke bailed. It was just me and Tony eventually. We went to Vegas. This year it's supposed to be Pat's coming. We got the whole crew, so we're all in on it, so it should be a good time.
We're talking with Cooper Helfet here at Seahawks Weekly. And one of the things, not an adjustment, but your guys' offense really does work different than most in the league. You're a run-first offense. Not only that, but you have a quarterback who's able to scramble. How does that change what you expect and what you try to do on a given play?
Yeah, I mean, it just it makes things easier and harder at the same time, right? Because, in terms of a run game, there's so many ways that we can beat you that, as long as you get on the guy, we're going to make a play. As long as we don't leave the guy free, either Rawls or, obviously Marshawn makes plays out of nothing. And, Russ can move and get things done with his feet. But in terms of the pass game, Russ is back there. You have no idea where he's going to be at any time. So, you just got to try and do your best to stay on your guy. But he's running around, and you got to try and figure out where he is at the same time. So, it's a, unique, powerful offense, but, hard and, good fun to be in.
We were talking about that, Cooper. It's amazing what this offense has become. And I don't know if you guys see it from the standpoint that we do, because I know from the inside, you're just looking at films and clips of plays and everything, but it's pretty incredible what you guys have become, because, you're this big play offense all of a sudden, and this is a team known for just running the ball and playing defense, but, it seems like a certain number of players, especially I look at Russell Wilson and Doug Baldwin, they just kind of have that feeling we were talking about earlier and a lot of confidence to go along with it.
Yeah, they've been playing, out of their minds. And, it's Russ has really, come along and started to just fire on all cylinders. We were talking about today in film, just watching practice today. Like, every pass he throws is, through the seam, over the guy's fingertips, just on the money. And, I think it's just kind of one of those momentum things where you just finally feel it and you just let it go and it goes the right way. And, we have such, obviously a powerful run game that we have, I think by far the most explosive runs every week, just because, we get bodies on people and, make people pick between Russ and, the running back. And once you start getting 12, 14-yard runs, defenses really have to, figure out a way. Like, listen, they're taking up huge chunks of field on the run. So they try and do everything they can to stop it. And that's when Russ, can drop back, roll out, do all the things necessary to get the ball to one of our open guys. And, Doug, one of the harder guys to guard in the league, so he's been making that connection.
We were talking earlier about how kind of the emphasis starting in that Dallas game to a lot more rhythm throws and a lot more throws on time. And I'm wondering how that changes what you guys do as tight ends and pass catchers. What kind of adjustment that's like for you?
The more rhythm Russ gets, it's, obviously, a much better feeling for us just because, he gets back and he plants that third step, if it's a 3-step drop or a 5-step drop, and you come out of your break and the ball's right there, and it's just nice. It's more comfortable. The timing's right, and it just comes with time. It's hard to fire like that right off the beginning of the season, so it took us a couple games, but now it's kind of like you know where the ball's going to be, you know what to expect. I mean, obviously, with Russ, there's always going to be some element of the unexpected, but it's nice for us. We're comfortable, and wherever we draw up, the plays are going that way, which is great.
One of the things in watching this team over the past couple years, there's a certain, it's not a confidence, but there's just a culture in that locker room and an understanding of whether it's how you approach each week, the fact that you guys look and really are excited about the end of seasons and those sort of things. What have you noticed, and has playing in Seattle kind of changed your perception of what sort of a football coach or a football culture can be?
Yeah, I mean, hearing horror stories of guys, going to other teams or coming back from other teams. I was just talking to Maxwell the other day, and he's having just a tough time just with the city and the culture and everything out there. And, it's such a great atmosphere just because Pete keeps it so positive. It's all about, us just becoming the best, versions of ourselves on and off the field and, keeping our unique attitudes and characteristics. He loves that. And it's just a fun place to be. So, we go in there every day and have fun and be ourselves. And that only propels us to want to be, in those moments where we can trust in each other and make the big plays down the stretch. And other teams kind of, they get that feeling they win games early, and then you get to the end stretch, and they're like, let's just hold on to those wins and have a run in the playoffs. And we're like, no, let's get better every week and get better every week and get better every week. And, by week 11, 12, 13, we're going to be cruising into the playoffs.
Did you ever wonder if you wanted to be like a long-term football player? Because you, coming out of high school, and injury kind of derailed some of your recruiting, but you went and were a lacrosse player at Johns Hopkins, which is a really fantastic, not only a school, but a program, and then kind of decided to pursue your own love. Was it always a natural fit for you with sort of the traditional football sort of scream and yell culture?
I don't know. No, it probably took a little long. I was really, basketball was really my favorite sport growing up for a long time, and even into high school, and I almost went and played college basketball too. But just the idea of, when it got down to college and it was, 7 a.m. wake-ups and it was, just all the, practicing and tiring. And football was the only one where it was really like Sundays, it was just like war, and you were going to war with your brothers, and it was the only thing that made all the other stuff worth it to me in the end, and that's why I kind of picked football.
Cooper, we haven't gotten to this yet, but you actually get paid on the side to be really, really good looking. And that's why a lot of the people here, there were some modeling shots that we have here.
I've seen a couple beefcake poses.
I was going to say, I saw a shot that
should ban those.
I think it could be a big baller fine.
We're going to keep that on the DL, all right? We're going to keep this on the DL.
All right. They're probably not listening to the show, right?
But I sincerely hope not.
But you did say that those guys, sometimes they'll make fun of you a little bit until they see the checks, right?
Yeah, they make fun of me until they see the checks, but I still get fined heavily.
Okay. Yeah. Do you think
every time they put one of those pictures up in team meeting before the team meeting, that's a solid $200 going to the fine room.
Has everybody seen Zoolander 10, 12 times?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So.
They've actually made a meme of my face on him. That's pretty good.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's awesome.
So I'm thinking, like, if you lose a step in the modeling career, you can go to being the hand model. Maybe.
Yeah, once I start fading out of the modeling, hit my late 30s, I'll go to hand model.
Well, that's kind of got to be tough, because the one thing about tight ends is you guys are part linemen, but you're part receiver, but your hands are usually pretty mangled up between the combination of those two things, the blocking and the catching.
I know. I'm trying to keep these puppies alive for my modeling career.
Now, we know last year that you lived with Marshawn Lynch, right? And there was lots of questions about, okay, does he replace the toilet paper roll and all that? What's it like living with him? Are you living with him this year, or?
I am still living with him this
year. Yeah, I got to believe he's one of those guys, because I was going to ask you, who's the one guy on the team that you just want to be around and think, that's got to be him, right? He seems like he's the most entertaining teammate.
He is by far the most entertaining teammate, without a doubt.
He's not the quietest, though. I mean, you have to put up with a pretty loud stereo system, I'm going to imagine.
It's a pretty loud stereo system. It's pretty entertaining, though.
But
I've come to I mean, I grew up with a lot of the same music. You know, it's all Bay Area rap. He plays nothing but Bay rap. So I grew up with the same stuff. I knew a lot of the songs. I've also obviously gained a lot more of the music. But yeah, I mean, the whole house is shaking a lot of the time.
And you also have to pay for no plumbing, correct? Because Beacon just comes
free,
over.
Free Beacon, baby. Free Beacon.
How did you end up from Marin County all the way at Duke for college? What was the story there?
I went to Johns Hopkins, got a scholarship to play lacrosse there. Just obviously, like we said, just really didn't love it. Wasn't my passion. Came back, bounced around to 2 different junior colleges. Just finally found the one, you know, that was going to give me the best chance to go on and play D1 college ball. And they kind of started recruiting me early. You know, I had a lot of other interest from other teams in my second junior college season. But you know, after I, you know, committed to like a really good academic institution like Johns Hopkins and left to go to junior college, I kind of felt like I owed my parents one, so I went back to Duke.
And you were there when Peyton Manning was making his comeback, right?
I was there, yeah. So when Peyton was rehabbing his neck and all that, yeah, I was there. That was kind of when I was coming out for pro day and everything like that. So I was there catching balls in for about 2 or 3 months.
And the other thing that I've heard in my studious research beforehand was that you became a very devoted Duke basketball fan. And you would never miss a Duke basketball game?
Did you actually?
No, I heard the exact opposite. I heard you never went to a Duke basketball game.
That's not true. I went to the UNC games.
Oh, you did? But are you a Duke fan?
Oh, yeah, I'm a Duke fan for sure. I always root for those guys. I mean, the guys on the team are actually really good dudes. Kyrie was there when I was there, super solid dude. And so, yeah, I'm always rooting for all those guys, whether or not Duke team or in the NBA now. So.
Did you ever watch him back? Because when I was playing, I was a huge Duke basketball fan. I don't know why. Maybe it was those guys kind of reminded me of the guys that I went to Stanford with. You know, they were kind of the same type of guys. But, you know, there's a lot of people that really hate Duke basketball. And I always kind of relished in that.
that you just relish in people's hate?
Yes. Yeah, I did. I love that.
He is Cooper Helfet. It's been a blast to talk to you. It's going to be fun to watch not only where the season goes for the team, but for you, the opportunities that you're going to get going forward. There's a lot of things you can do with your Thursday night. We're really grateful that he came down and spent some time talking with us. That's Cooper Helfet. Let's give him a big round of applause here.
Thanks for having me, guys. It was fun.